Invite. Yeah. Paste. All right, y'all. First and foremost, give all praise to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and his son, Hamashiach Yahushua, who we know as Jesus Christ. All right, Wednesday's class, Wednesday's lesson, be a rock in the flock. Very important that we be a rock in the flock. Because we all, dealing with leadership, man, we all fall into a role of leadership because, especially as men, because you should be the priest inside of each of your homes. And you're going to need the stability of a rock. You're going to need the stableness of a rock. You're going to need the strength. All right? You need the foundational strength of a rock. And we're going to glean from the text a little bit on the conversation that was had between Christ and Peter. And use some of those principles there on our dealings amongst each other, amongst God's sheep, his flock, and understanding that. Very important that we understand that also. It said you have no devices connected, Brother Dion, but I do see you popped in there. And we're going to go ahead and get started very shortly, man. Maybe a minute or two. They would need to connect. They would need to connect their mic. Okay, yeah, you're going to have to connect your mic or your mic check, mic check. Let me make sure I'm plugged up. Do I got any volume? Mic check. Yeah, I got something going. Mic check, mic check. Yeah, I got something going. Okay, they add you now. Let you connect there. Add you now. Shalom, Brother Dion.
Shalom, Mark.
Just like
Yeah, man, we're gonna go and crank this thing up.
I'm watching you.
It says, be a rock in the flock, solidifying kingship behavior. Solidifying kingship behavior. That was a link to the Chevy commercial. Matter of fact, let me see if I can play it.
Can you mute? Can you hear me out?
Yeah, I hear y'all.
No echo?
No echo, but I think I hear some background though.
Con,
No
I got.
echo.
I'm not at home right now, but
Oh, you good?
I'm chatting in.
Do I need to play that? I don't need to play that. Y'all remember the song, the Chevy song back in the day? That Chevy had that song, like a rock. Oh, like a rock. Talking about that, talking about those Chevy trucks, man. They used to run like a rock. They used to be something that you can depend on. Not so much today, though. Not so much today, man. I think they say them Toyota Tundras are probably like the most dependable trucks now. But a lot of these Fords and Chevys, a lot of these American-made trucks, man, they kind of lost their reputation on some of these newer builds.
They all man-made though.
Yeah, but them Yodas, I did a little research because I'm looking. That's probably gonna be my next vehicle, but I seen Joker bring that thing in with 1 million miles on that thing.
On a Tundra?
Seen him bring it in with on the Toyota Tundra.
Wow.
He brought it in with 1 million miles. He had to change.
Shalaki, go ahead.
He had to change the transmission once.
Yeah, because I heard them Camrys. I did hear that back in the day. Like them Camrys are run forever, but the Tundra, I heard different things on it. So
okay, yeah, I had some research. I did a little research, but yeah, like you say, they all gonna have their issues at the end of the day. Shalom, brother Eleazar.
Hey, shalom, Ox.
Shalom,
Shalom,
Shalom, fams. How y'all doing today?
You doing all right? You doing all
No
right?
complaints.
All praise.
I remember his wonder. Wondrous. I don't know what I was putting right there. But let's look at Psalm 78. We're gonna read 15 through 20.
Psalm 78.
Psalm 78, we'll read 15 through 20. Where is my sword? Let me get my phone.
It's the book of Psalms, chapter 78, and verse, what you call?
78 and verse 15 through 20.
Psalm 78 and verse 15. Reads, He split open the rocks in the wilderness to give them water, as from a gushing spring. He made streams pour from the rock, making the waters flow down like a river. Yet they kept on sinning against him, rebelling against the Most High in the desert. They stubbornly tested God in their hearts. Is this? I don't know. I don't know if this is King James. I got two different joints.
You an NLT, kind of NLT-ish.
Can you let me see. Tell me if this is. I'm gonna read the other side. Yeah. Let me see. Okay, we was at 15. Shalakia. Yeah, this must be an NLT. I'm sorry. Yeah, this is NLT.
What verse it is?
78,
Psalm
15 through 20.
My bad.
Yeah, bro.
Ain't no biggie.
This is the book of Psalm 78 and 15. It says, He clave the rocks in the wilderness and gave them drink as out of the great depths. He brought streams also out of the rock and caused water to run down like rivers. And they sinned yet more against him by provoking the Most High in the wilderness. And they tempted God in their hearts by asking meat for their lusts. Yea, they spake against God. They said, Can God furnish a table in the wilderness? Behold, he smote the rock, that the water gushed out, and the stream overflowed. Can he give bread also? Can he provide flesh for his people? Therefore the Lord heard this and was wroth. So a fire was kindled against Jacob, and anger also came up against Israel, because they believe not in God and trust not in his salvation. Though he had commanded the clouds from above and opened the doors of heaven, and he rained down manna upon them to eat, and had given them of the corn of heaven. Man did eat angels' food. He sit them meat to the full. 625.
No. That was it. That was it.
Sure.
You really could have started at 20, but
Okay.
you see that, we got to remember the great things that he did when we was in the wilderness with Moses smiting that rock and bringing out that water and providing for us, and the ignorance of Israel, even tempting or testing the Most High by, can he do these things? Can he provide manna for? And then when he provides the manna, we still complaining, and we thinking about old Egypt and them flesh bowls and them crab boils and whatever meats they would throw inside of those pots, and you still see some of that, some of them stews and so forth. But them flesh pots and those vegetables and cucumbers and so forth, even when we were provided for, and even though we was taken care of, Even though we was under the supervision and the provisions of the Most High, we still complained. We still didn't trust. We still was fearing for our lives, even when our lives were in His hands. The sheep were disturbed. They were disturbed. They were scared. They were running this way, running that way, and we have to be mindful and not to forget these things, man. It's when you in a desert, man, when you hadn't had some good cold water in a minute, or you done went out here and you done walked 4 miles, or you done got on that treadmill and you done ran a couple miles, or you done went on the track somewhere and you done walked a couple miles, or if you've been somewhere where you couldn't just get to that water like you want. Once you get to that water, once you get to that water you had in the refrigerator, it got a layer of ice on the top of it. Oof. And you pour that thing out that pitcher, man, or you get it out of that bottle, whatever the case may be. That water, man, you hit that thing, you like, man. Man, that was some refreshing water. Man, I needed that. And that water ain't tasted that good. And you can imagine when he smit that rock.
Yeah.
After going them ways, and then he smit that rock and this gushing water coming out of there. But after a while, man, we get used to it and we forget.
Shalakia.
Go ahead, brother.
And that reminded me, in 91 in Miami, we went through Hurricane Andrew, right? And when Hurricane Andrew hit, and I think it was 92. I'm sorry, Shalakia. 92 when it hit, and when it hit in 92, it was like, being from South Florida, we used to hurricanes, but this was like a hurricane like no other, and you was literally out of water because everything was contaminated at that time. You was literally out of water. I'm talking about just like at your assets for about 2 months. And so when they finally came in and started like giving out bottles of waters and ice and all that stuff, man, that line was wrapped. Man, look, you had people was standing in line for water. I'm talking about if you went to that line like in the middle of the day, you standing there near about 2 football fields, and they had them all around the city to get water. Ice they was charging $20 for a bag of ice. You see what I'm saying? And so,
right.
And so sometimes, man, when I was in that moment, you when you just took for granted just going into the refrigerator and getting you some drink. Now you standing in line for water.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I can imagine, man, and that's how we get. And that's how we get with God, man. Long as we at our lowest point through the affliction, they're gonna seek me early. But once we out of that affliction state, man, we out. We out. Now we want to start doubting God. Now we want to start questioning the Bible and all that stuff. But the minute you get in your situation, man, you're calling on the name of Yahweh, man. And Yahweh shot, man. But I yield, brother.
That's exactly it, man. It's easy for us to forget and lose that value. At that point it was $20. It was $20 for some ice. But once there's plenty of ice, we forget that, and we don't hold that value anymore on that ice. And it's the same thing with some of these situations the Most High done got us out of. Some of these miracles and testimonies that we've witnessed and we've been a part of ourselves. We forget those things. We forget what the Most High done brought us through and brought us out of, and we lose value. We lose value. It don't hold the Most High don't hold that same value anymore. So we got to remember those things, reflect on those things, reminisce on those things, share those stories with each other, so that we can remember. Feed my sheep. John 12, 21, 12 through 12 through 17. John 21, 12 through 17. I read this. And it says, Jesus saith unto them, come and dine. And none of the disciples durst ask him, who art thou? Knowing that it was the Lord. Jesus then cometh and taketh bread and giveth them, and fish likewise. This is now the third time that Jesus showed himself to the disciples after that he had risen from the dead. So when they had dined, Jesus said to Simon Peter, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me more than these? He saith unto him, yea, Lord, thou knowest that I loveth thee. He saith unto him, feed my lambs. He saith to him again the second time, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me? He saith unto him, yea, Lord, thou knowest that I love thee. He saith unto him, feed my sheep. He saith unto him the third time, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me? And Peter was grieved because he said unto him the third time, lovest thou me? And he said unto him, Lord, thou knowest all things. Thou knowest that I love thee. And Jesus saith unto him, feed my sheep. And when you read that just plain English, it seems like he said the same thing all three times. But if you dig a little deeper, you'll see that he said three different things. You can see that he said, feed my lambs, and then feed my sheep, and then feed my sheep. But the words there are the feed there. The feed there is two different words there if you look inside of the Greek. And we see Peter getting a little greedy. You're like, man, you getting on my nerves a little bit, man. You know, Peter be anxious, man. Peter be anxious, man. So we're going to look into that. Simon's surname, John 142. Some one hitters. Well, we're going to look into those three. We're going to glean from those three principles of the feed my sheep, feed my lamb, and the other one was we can glean tend to my sheep. Or keep my sheep. John 142. Somebody can read it.
John 142.
Con, you can just read that verse.
Con, and it said, and he brought him to Jesus, and when Yahushua beheld him, he said, thou art Simon, the son of Jonah, thou shalt be called Caiaphas, which is by interpretation a stone.
All right. And you look at drop down to Matthew. Let's hit Matthew 16, 17. You see his surname? Cephas. Caiaphas, Cephas.
You said Matthew
16, 17. We just seeing that surname there, but that's just Aramaic. Aramaic transliteration.
You said Matthew 16 and 17.
It's pretty much the same thing.
And it said, and Yahushua answered and said unto him, blessed art thou, Simeon Barjona, for flesh and blood have not revealed it unto thee, but my Father which is in heaven.
Shalaki, go down to 19. Just keep reading down to 19.
Right. And I said also unto thee that thou art Peter, upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. And I will give unto thee the keys of the kingdom of heaven, and whatsoever thou shalt bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatsoever thou shalt loose on earth shall be loose in heaven.
And so we see Peter here again. That Peter or Cephas goes into his name being rock. He named him a rock, and upon this rock, that church will be built. Deuteronomy 32:4.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, 32 verse 4. He is the rock. His work is perfect, for all his ways are judgment, and a God of truth and without iniquity. Just and right is he.
So he is a rock. His deeds are perfect. Everything he does is just. God of truth and without iniquity, and just and right is he. And again, we have to pull these attributes. This is, these are the attributes of a rock. We got to glean from some of these attributes as our Father is, as the Hamashiach is. We have to have those same attributes as children of God. Matthew 26:33. Just a little reminder to Peter.
Okay. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 26 and verse 23. And it reads, and he answered and said, he that dippeth his hand with me in the dish, the same shall betray me. The Son of Man goeth as it is written of him. But woe unto that man by whom the Son of Man is betrayed. It has been good for that man if he had not been born.
Well, you had 26, 30.
You said 26 and
33.
Oh, 33, Shalaki. And 33. Say, but after I am risen again, I will go, Shalaki say 33, Shalaki. Peter answered and said unto him, though all men shall be offended because of thee, yet will I never be offended. Is that it? 26, 33?
Right. That's what I want. All right. So you see that zeal also, Peter.
Okay.
Everybody else may turn their backs on you, but you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do what I'm supposed to do. But we know old Peter. Luke chapter 6, verse 47 through 49.
You said Luke chapter 6?
Luke chapter 6, verse 47, and we're gonna read through 49.
This is the book of Luke chapter 6, verse 46. And why call ye me Lord, Lord, and do not the things which I say? Whosoever come to me and hears my saying and do them, I will show you to whom he is like. He is like a man which built an house and dig deep and laid the foundation on a rock. And when the flood arose, the stream beat vehemently upon the house and could not shake it, for it was founded upon a rock. But keep going, it says 49.
Right. 49.
But he that heareth and doeth not is like a man that without a foundation built an house upon the earth, against which the stream, which the stream did beat it vehemently, and immediately it failed, and the ruins of the house was great.
So we want to be, not just hearers. That James 1:22, 23, 24. We don't want to be just hearers. We want to be also doers, so that we can be like a house that's founded upon a rock. That when the afflictions and when the troubles and when the problems and when the sickness and then the death and through whatever we got to go through, beats against the door, beats against the house, we're still standing. We're still standing on that foundation. We're still standing on the gospel of Christ. We ain't growing weary in this thing. We still know where our trust lies. And we still know where that salvation will come through. We're not getting rocked into Egyptology, rocked into more science, rocked into darn what they got going now. Mermaid Kingdom, the Marine Kingdom. You're standing on a solid foundation. You're standing on a Peter. You're standing on a rock in the wilderness. That even during those tough times, a fountain of living water can come out of. All right, but those who hear and don't do, of course, they like a house that don't have no foundation. All right, have no insulation. Them cold days like we had today, they in there, they getting chilly, and Joker's running up out of there, man. I'm through, man. I'm done. I ain't finna keep living like that. I ain't finna keep following this thing. This thing grows grievous to them, and they start inching away. But we have to be a rock, and have to be a place or a body in which there's consistency and there's resilience through those tough times. Feed my lamb. That's one of the first quotes there. We know a lamb is different. Lamb. We done ate enough lamb to know. But a lamb is I think a lamb is under a year younger, but it's a child. It's young. It's not a like a ram or a full sheep or whatever. Let me look it up. Let me look it up for make sure. But I think
like a yearling.
Yeah, it's like a, what's that other word they use for them darn them baby goats?
Baby goes like a calf.
Calf, I think that was for cow, but it's another word.
Baby.
I forget. Hold on, let me see. I'm close to looking at it. Yeah, young sheep. That's all they give us. A lamb is a young sheep. All right, so it's young in the truth. So I'm taking that as someone young in the spirit, young in the gospel, young in understanding, young in wisdom. And he's telling the rock to feed him.
Kid.
Yeah, I would have never got that. Kid. A young goat is a kid. But yeah. He said, feed the lamb. So he started off with that. We're gonna go to 1 Corinthians 3:1 and just giving us some principles on how to feed the young lambs. How to feed the young lambs. And you see the possession. You see the possession there. Feed my lamb. And that's one thing we're gonna have to understand is that and the vital importance of it is that they don't belong to us. All right, this ain't the body of Brother Phineas. All right, my blood wasn't shed for you. You belong to him, and I have to understand that. You're teaching the young lambs, they belong to him. You gotta understand that. All right, it ain't about you and your personal feelings and how you feel about this and that. We gotta take our feelings out of it and understand that this is his possession that we're giving back to him. And so we have to give it back to him in the way that he wants it, not in the way that we want it. You back up?
I'm here.
You here? Okay, we read that 1 Corinthians 3:1 and 2.
You don't mind if I
From
read it from this Bible?
yeah, it'll be all right.
Come on. This First Corinthians chapter 3 and verse 1 says, "Dear brothers and sisters, when I was with you, I couldn't talk to you as I would to spiritual people. I had to talk to you as though you belonged to this world, or as though you were infants in the Christian life. I had to feed you with milk, not with solid food, because you weren't ready for anything stronger. And you still aren't ready, for you are still controlled by your sinful nature. You are jealous of one another and quarrel with each other. Doesn't that prove you are controlled by your sinful nature? Aren't
Con,
you living like people of the world?"
and you know, sometimes you know, when we dealing, especially when we teaching on the streets, you know, the language change a little bit. You know, you kind of got to meet people where they at. You know, you can't get into these heavy theological terminologies and you know and quarrel over dispensations and you know heresies and so forth. You can't, you can't have those conversations, you know, on the street. Sometimes you can, you know, because sometimes you run into someone who is you know, spiritually ready for something like that. But sometimes you have to dumb it down. Sometimes you got to chew the food before you feed it to the baby. And you know, sometimes it involves you speaking a little bit like the world. You know what I'm saying? You know, just I know Paul said, you know, having that your tongue seasoned with salt, so you'll know how to answer everyone. I think it's Colossians 3:8. Let me see if I can pull it real quick. No, that's not 3:8. Let me see if it's 5:8. Negative. Hold on, let me find this precept. Speech seasoned with salt. 4:6. Colossians 4:6, it says, "Let your speech be always with grace, seasoned with salt, that ye may know how you may ought to answer every man." And that was, you know, that was a learning experience, because sometimes, man, we'll be so zealous, you know, to help make people get it, that it'll start an argument, or it'll get brothers and sisters out of character, or we end up going back and forth, or almost, you know, igniting a fire because, you know, the speech wasn't with grace. It was a condemning speech. And because we had a fire on us, we just want to rah 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 rah. But you know, that was all in learning. But we have to understand that, you know, people that are cardinal, people that are in the world, you can't just go super spiritual on them with the word. You know, you have to kind of meet them where they at. And because sometimes they'll even close their ear to it, because you may not understand. You don't know where we came from. And sometimes you have to explain to them, man, I've been there. I came from that. I've been, you know, I used to stay in the same hood. I used to do the same things, you know. In time past, man, we had those same iniquities, and I can show you how the Most High brought me out of those situations. But again, you know, Paul here, that's what we gleaning from. We see Paul saying, hey, man, you know, I couldn't give it to y'all the way I wanted to, because y'all still cardinal. Y'all still jealous. Y'all still envious of each other. Y'all still in here quarreling with each other. And he's writing this epistle to the church in Corinth. Let's look at 2 Peter. What is that? 1 Peter? Shalakia. 1 Peter 2:2.
1 Peter 2:2. It reads, "Like newborn babies, you must crave pure spiritual milk, so that you will grow into a full experience of salvation. Cry out for this nourishment."
Come. So you should as newborn babes, you should desire the sincere milk of the word. You should desire the sincere milk. And that's what I'm saying. That thing got to be sincere. It should be pure because it's basic. It's the foundational, it's the principal things. It's the base level things. So it should be out of sincerity. It should be pure. You know, that milk, you know, to nourish those kids, and that thing. Shilaki. What they got us on now with that Infamil and that darn
Similac.
that Similac. Yeah, man. Yeah, when they got us on that darn Similac. You know, got us off of that pure milk. But yeah, we gotta yearn for those that milk, man. You know, a lot of times, you know, the youngsters when they come in, you know, just like little kids, man, they want to drink what the adults are drinking. They see the adults drinking the wine, they want some of the wine. They want to sip out of your cup. They want to eat your food. You fix them some food, it's all mushed up, give them some of that little baby food. They don't even want the baby food because they looking at your food. And they get into some things that are heavy and end up choking on the word. And being a rock in the flock, we gotta be mindful of that. We gotta be mindful of that. We see folks chewing on something that's a bit heavy. You know, sometimes you see a child doing that or been and put a toy or something in their mouth. It ain't supposed to be in their mouth. You got to run over there and snatch it out their mouth. You don't need to be chewing on. You can't be chewing on that. You can't be eating it. That ain't edible. I seen a video of that, man. Look, little girl had to pull. You know, she was there before the parent was pulling the darn toy out of the baby mouth. But the baby done put a toy in his mouth, about to swallow. But we have to be mindful of those things. Matthew 4:4.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 4, verse 4.
Okay.
But he answered and said, "It is written, man should not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeded out of the mouth of your God."
All right, we should not live by bread alone, but out of every word, and that's what we need to be nourishing them with, the word of God. What we got? Hebrews 5:12.
God, this is the book of Hebrews, chapter 5, and verse 12. It says, For the time ye ought to be teachers, ye have need that one teaches you again, which be the first principle of the oracles of God, and are become such as have need of milk and not of strong meat.
And you know, when you become a babe, you know, that's why we talking about being born again. You know, you a babe. You gotta relearn. You gotta be able, and you gotta be teachable. You gotta be able to be taught. You can't be rushing into it. And I want to get it, man. You gotta be able to be taught. You gotta be able to be sat down and nourished with some milk. And understand you need this milk first. But a lot of us, you know, we have that. You come in, you have that fire, and you got to know that about the sheep. You know, everybody on the call now kind of been, you know, we've been in this thing a good minute. And so when you seeing people come in, or you seeing new people, and they got that fire on them, you know, I done talked to brothers, you know, they done went out here, did all kinds of stuff because they had that fire was on them. They had some things a little funny. They thought it was over, and jumped out, made preparations, for that. But we've seen that also in time past where, there's been prophecies of, okay, well, this thing finna end in year 2000. And, young sheep may come in 98, and let go of everything they have, preparing for that prophecy. And these things end up not happening. But we need to make sure that we're giving them that milk out of the gate, man. And being mindful of letting these sheep stray and go into these other things that they may be above their pay rate at the moment, at the time anyway. Tend to my sheep. All right, and that's the word there. Poimino. We ain't no Greek scholars over here. Well, I'm not. All right, it says to feed, tend to a flock, keep a flock. All right, that was the word they're used for that. All right, to tend, to keep, to feed. And that was the word used in that second stanza when he told Peter. He told Peter to feed my sheep. Galatians 6:1. We're gonna read 1 and 2.
Okay. This is the book of Galatians, chapter 6, starting at verse 1. It say, brethren, if a man be overtaken in a fault, ye which are spiritual, restore such an one in the spirit of meekness, considering thyself, lest thou also be tempted. Bear ye one another's burden, and so fulfill the law of Christ.
All right, and a lot of times we want to throw these sheep out, and never bring the sheep back, but we all fall into sin. It's easy to point the finger. I know even with what's going on with these pastors, falling into this iniquity, falling into these sins. Of course, they need to be sat down, but we do have to have mercy, man. We do have to understand the reciprocity of mercy, and be willing to restore these individuals who have fallen. Understanding and operating in meekness and humbleness, understanding that we have fallen too, and that we have these little secret sins, and we have little things that we dealing with and we trying to overcome, or we've overcome, but we've been through some things, and had to be restored ourselves. And he's telling to be warning of these things, because these things can happen to you. You can be tempted by these things too. You can get that text message too. It's easy to say you won't do it. It's easy for me to say that, man, ain't no way I'll get caught sleeping with my secretary as the pastor. But I want to say, I bet I ain't finna do that. I ain't gonna cheat on my wife. No, man. But them temptations, you can fall into them. It's easy. That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying is it's one decision. It's one bad decision that can lead into some foolishness, man. And so we gotta be girded. You gotta have on that whole armor, and not putting yourself in those kind of situations, not even being in situations where you having one-on-ones and so forth with the opposite sex, especially if you know that's your weakness. If you having weakness and you having certain feelings and you seeing the flesh getting riled up, you can't. But I'm just saying, we have to. We always talk about the discipline part, but we're never talking about the restoration. And again, understanding that these aren't our sheep. These sheep belong to him. And he may not have want that sheep to be thrown away. He may want that sheep to be disciplined. All right. You know, that's what that, you know, I always compliment Isaiah about that. He had brought out about that darn that shepherd, what they call that shepherd, the little shepherd hook that the shepherd always have. The staff that he has that has the hook on it. Y'all know what I'm talking about?
Nah, let me look it up.
Like
I remember that. I can't remember the name though.
Yeah, usually the herd the sheep. You could usually, if you just see a picture of it, it's a stick, but the stick got a curl on it. It hooks like a candy cane.
Yeah, they used to use it in the Gong Show. To pull that contestant off the stage and at the Apollo.
It's called.
Yeah, my bad. Look, my mic pulled out.
It's called a shepherd's crook. Shepherd's crook. It's a long
shepherd's crook.
Right. A shepherd's crook.
You got a definition?
It says it is a long and sturdy stick with a hook at one end, often with the point flared outwards, used by a shepherd to manage and sometimes catch the sheep. In addition, the crook may add in a
you kind of went out. But Azaz was bringing out the point. I don't know if it was round Passover something. We was talking about that unblemished lamb and how sometimes they'll take that stick and break the limb and break a limb to keep the lamb from continuing to run off.
Hit him with it.
We lost you for a second.
Oh yeah, man. Somebody calling. Y'all call CC.
Okay, you good.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so sometimes it hit the lamb with it, break a limb to keep him inside of the pack so that the lamb wouldn't continue to run off.
Break a limb.
Yeah, break a limb. So it was important to have a lamb that was where no bones were broken, showing the obedient sheep. But to have that hook on there also to bring that sheep back in. We just didn't let that sheep just wander off. So we had to have a spirit of restoration. Also as being a rock. 1 Thessalonians 5:11-19.
I can read it off the slide if y'all want.
Yeah, that'll work.
It says 1 Thessalonians 5:11. Wherefore comfort yourselves together and edify one another, even as also ye do. And we beseech you, brethren, to know them which labor among you and are over you in the Lord, and admonish you, and to esteem them very highly in love for their work's sake, and be at peace among yourselves. Now we exhort you, brethren, warn them that are unruly, comfort the feeble-minded, support the weak, be patient toward all men, see that none render evil for evil unto any man, but ever follow that which is good, both among yourselves and to all men. Rejoice evermore, pray without ceasing, and everything give thanks, for this is the will of God in Christ Jesus concerning you. Quench not the spirit.
Quench not the spirit, but edify one another. beseech you, brethren, to know them which labor among you. All right. To admonish them that are over you, to esteem them very highly in your love for their work's sake. That there's peace, peace among the brethren, peace among the body, and supporting the weak, supporting, comfort the feeble-minded, and give warning to them that are unruly, giving rebuke and correction to those that are unruly. And important, I missed that in that Galatians too, man, that bearing one another's burdens and, taking on some of the burdens of each other. And, with that fulfilling the law of Christ. But back to the First Thessalonians, very important that, we know each other, man. That we're building relationships among each other, that we know certain, we have certain boundaries and we know not to cross certain boundaries. And just know each other, man. It's, sometimes when you don't, and we bringing people in and people just going about certain things, sometimes jokes can be taken out of pocket. Sometimes, doctrines can be spewed up. People can be backdooring certain things and saying certain things about, and gesturing can be taken wrong. People may not have the spirit for jesting. People may have a spirit for joking. Other people may not. And just understanding the strengths and weaknesses of each other. What I'm saying? Understanding, so they can be positioned in the right places to help the body, to strengthen the body, even though we may think, oh, well, you good, we may feel like, oh, well, I'm good at this or I'm good at that. But sometimes other people see certain other things. Oh, yeah, you know what, man, Brother Phoenix, man, you real good at reading, man. You may need to read a little more, man. You may not be the greatest teacher, but you might be a better reader. You might be a better reader or man, you know what? I want you to read for me, man. I like the way you read, and I can, what I'm saying? And so forth, man. Wherever the position, wherever the strengths are needed, Brother Dion is very strengthened on that barbecue grill, man. We know we've had certain experiences. I know I had certain experiences. I done messed up a lamb or two, but we lost a whole lamb one year messing with me. So now I don't even dare. You got to ask me, but I will if you ask me. I'll jump down now if you ask me. But since then, I stepped back because I didn't listen when instructions were given to me. By a rock, I didn't listen. You know what I'm saying? I said, nah, we need to keep it slow cook, man. That lamb, man, it was almost midnight for that lamb was done messing with me, man. you gotta know and go through some of those things together, man, and disappoint each other and restore each other, and so that you can learn certain skill sets among each other, and like I say, in that and having those relations, you can strengthen the body, man, and not quench the spirit. Pray without ceasing, man. We should always be in prayer. We should always be in prayer. We should always be praying for each other, because like I say, man, it's, men, especially men, what I'm saying? We'll say everything all right 95% of the time. We ain't gonna say, what, I'm good, everything straight. We go there, and we say that 95%. It's very rare that we say, man, I'm going through it, brother. But we all know we go through them storms. So pray without ceasing, because sometimes, you know, it be hard. Joker got to get twirled and rolled on his neck a couple times before he say sometimes. Sometimes. So keep brothers in prayer, you know, to keep them from having to going through that situation, man. You know, man, them prayers already been going up, brother. You got a few more slides, y'all. Feed my sheep. 2 Timothy chapter 3 and verse 16. And we dealing with that word there, bosco, was the third word used to feed. And portraying the duty. Look at the second definition. Portraying the duty of a Christian teacher to promote in every way the spiritual warfare of the members of the church. All right. Preparing them for spiritual warfare. They grown. We need to, you know, they're not babes anymore. They're not lamb. All right. You're going to feed them with doctrine to prepare them to battle, to prepare them for spiritual warfare. Go ahead, 2 Timothy 3:16. Any one of y'all brothers?
Go ahead,
Okay, this is the book of 2 Timothy 3 and 16. It said, all scripture is given by inspiration of God and is profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, for instructions in righteousness.
Verse 17.
Okay, that the man of God may be perfect, thoroughly furnished with unto all good works.
That he may be perfect, that he may be complete, that he may be mature, that he can be furnished unto all, thoroughly furnished, not just for thoroughly furnished unto all good works. But it's these scriptures inspired by the Most High and profitable for doctrine, reproof, and correction, and instructions in righteousness. All right, Ephesians chapter 4 and verse 11 through 15.
This is Ephesians chapter 4, verse 11. And he gave some apostles and some prophets and some evangelists and some pastors and teachers for the perfecting of the saints.
Shalakia,
for the work.
all these are these different things?
No, they're all slaves to the ministry.
They all slaves to the ministry, but are they different jobs? Do they have different jobs descriptions? Is an apostle the same as a prophet, the same as an evangelist, the same as a pastor, the same as a teacher? Is a pastor and a teacher the same thing?
It could be. In times it depends on the context, but sometimes it could be interchangeable, but not necessarily interchangeable. No, sometimes
the only difference I see is the prophet foretelling the future. Prophesying about what's to come. But I believe an evangelist can do the same thing. He could repeat or regurgitate the same thing that the prophet said, just like we doing. But some of our people call themselves prophets, but they're not really prophets. Yeah.
Khan, I believe, yeah, they kind of, and there's no wrong answer. You know, that was a genuine question. Just seeing how it's written here. But they kind of do. They do the same thing, but almost in different places. It could be in different situations. Kind of, it's a little different. So like I was saying, it kind of depends on the context, where they at. You know, I see an evangelist as one just going out, kind of, you know, going out to spread the gospel, more of the street teaching. But you're still teaching. You still prophesy. You still going out and giving the words of God, teaching the gospel. Go ahead, verse 12.
Verse 12, for the perfecting of the saints, for the work of the ministry, for the edifying of the body of Christ, till we all come in the unity of the faith and of the knowledge of the Son of God, unto a perfect man, unto a measure of the stature of the fullness of Christ, that we henceforth be no more children, tossed to and fro, and carried about with every wind of doctrine by the sleight of men and cunning craftiness, whereby they lie in wait to deceive. But speaking the truth in love may grow up into him in all things, which is the head, even Christ.
Con. All right, so that we can grow up into him in all things. But we see these titles and these rocks, the prophets, the evangelists, the pastors, the teachers. They're for the perfecting, they're for the maturing, they're for the maturing of the saints. All right, and it's a process. So it ain't something that's just boom, you got this teacher and you got this, it's a process, especially when you have all these different minds coming about with all of these different doctrines. And this is why this is something that happens where it says, verse 13, till we all come into the unity of the faith and all of the knowledge of the Son of God unto a perfect man. All right, a complete man, a complete body. And it's like I said, it's a process. We had to have certain discussions. We have to go over certain things. We have to have certain quarrels amongst each other. Not quarrels, but certain debates, certain things we have to hash out. For those who are spiritually mature, to have those. That's not for the lamb. Not for the lamb to be coming and get involved in those discussions. And ultimately we come into the unity of the faith, and therefore no more children, tossed to and fro and carried about every doctrine, because we done went through all of them. Yeah. We done refuted all of them. We done sat down with them. We done tried to make them make sense. We done tried to put them in here. We done tried to put it there, and we eliminated them. But that's a process. We eliminated what didn't work, what didn't fit, and then we come to what we have to come to, where we have nothing else but the sincere milk. We have nothing else but the truth. We have nothing else that that we can be swayed about. You can't get me with that, no, because I already done tried to make it fit.
It's like, yeah. And that verse 14, man, is powerful, because it says that that we henceforth be no more children tossed to and fro and carried about with every wind of doctrine by the sleight of men and cunning and craftiness, whereby they lay a lie in wait to deceive. And that's powerful, because just turn on YouTube, man. You'll see a lot of cunning craftiness. What that dude William Murphy said, he like, the reason why you in sin because you ain't making enough money. You know what I mean? That's that. Lord of Christ. That is that crafty cunningness, you know what I mean? Like that lie wait to deceive. And and so that's why, like you say, we gotta have these conversations. Even amongst Israel, a lot of pride gotta be dropped. If we don't ever move forward as a nation, pride gotta be dropped. And we can't go in there with prepositions, and we just gotta let the text be the text, and we gonna be follower of the words. We gotta actually be doers of the word at the same time. But yeah, brother. Yeah, I think Brother Feeney is done dropped a little bit. But yeah, so he was saying that like I was saying about that crafty whereby they lie in wait, but speaking the truth in love may grow up into him in all things, which is the head, even Christ. And that's what I'm saying. It's like when we do things, we gotta learn how to store one another in love. It ain't about cutting. You be even hearing a ching, you know what I mean? It ain't about cutting. It ain't about no showboating our gifts, because they are not ours, they're the Most High gifts, first and foremost. So it's all we're supposed to boast in the Most High, not boast in our ability to make somebody look bad or belittling somebody. And that's why Israel, we have a lot of growing to do. because not only, if we talk about going at the nations, but you don't know, it's people in the background looking at it who's being turned off by ethics. And the Most High don't want the Most High don't want us, carrying ourselves in a certain way. We got to carry ourselves like the Messiah, man. Brother Dion, you out of town?
No, I'm sort of going through it. I'm sort of going through it right now, man. I was at my homeboy's house, but I'm headed home now. I'm just gonna chime in and let you know. If I don't say nothing, I'm on the road. I got like 11%, so I'm headed home though.
Kind of all praises, man. Kind of all praises. And so,
yeah, please say a prayer for me, man.
Yeah, man, definitely, man. Where you you in Atlanta?
Yeah, I'm still in Atlanta.
Okay, all prayers go up, man. We'll lift you up tonight, Most High willing.
I appreciate you.
All praises. And so we just got to be mindful of these things. We got to be mindful and what our position is. Like it's not about us. It's about the Most High. It's about His Son, who the world calls Jesus, man. It's about representing the Spirit of the Most High at our finest. You know what I mean? So we gotta learn how to let our conversation be seasoned with salt. And it's a constant battle between the flesh and the spirit. Like Brother Feeney was saying earlier, like it ain't just about whether I'm gonna be strong today or brother gonna be weak tomorrow. We all gonna have these fiery trials, man. Let me get that precept. We're gonna always have these fiery trials that gonna test our faith. So when it tests our faith, we gotta be able to get renewed by the Spirit, and that's only through the Word of God, man. Let me get this precept real quick. Inshallah, let me get this precept real quick. Okay, so let me get it real quick, Shalaki family. So when you go in Galatians 5 and 17, you there, Brother Phoenix?
Yeah, I'm there. Go ahead,
Okay, Khan. When you go into Galatians 5 and 17, and it says, for the flesh lusts against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh, and these are contrary one to another, so that ye cannot do the things that you would. But ye be led of the Spirit, ye are not under the law. And so this is what we got to understand, and it's that because the flesh and the spirit is contrary to one another, but we can't be trying to live in the flesh. And so a lot of times when we get caught up is that we submit to our own perfect will and desire. That's why I say we gotta let it go pride, because pride is a part of that flesh. Right. And Brother Finn, I hear, brother. You go ahead, brother.
No, man, excellent point, man. Appreciate you
stepping.
Appreciate you being a rock.
Turn, I'll praise.
First Peter chapter. Some stuff in Jeremiah here. I might have clicked it one too many. I gotta, your computer restart, and then you got all this stuff got to load up, and it's trying to do a million things at once. But Jeremiah 3 and 15. We over an hour. Here's some single quick hitters real quick. I just read these off the screen real quick for us. This particular slide here. Jeremiah 3 and 15, it says, and I will give you pastors according to mine heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. Jeremiah 23, and this is the thing too, that's what I'm saying. Jeremiah, we delved into Jeremiah, read a few chapters last week, but he was really trying to get Judah right, man. Really trying to get Judah together. Jeremiah 23:4, it says, and I will set up shepherds over them, which shall feed them. and shall fear no more, and they shall fear no more, nor be dismayed, neither shall they be lacking, saith the Lord. And, again, feeding thy sheep, tending to thy sheep, feeding the lambs. And even going back to the point of them being in the wilderness and being under the greatest shepherd, the Most High, and Christ being that rock. Without those provisions, without certain things, they were in fear. And why were they in fear? Because they felt the lacking. They felt that they didn't have. They felt that they didn't have the water. They felt that they didn't have the proper nourishments. But he said, I will set up shepherds over them that shall feed them, so that they're not feeling dismayed. They're not feeling in fear. They're not feeling the lacking. Acts 20 and through 28 through 30. Says, take heed therefore unto yourselves and to all the flock over the which the Holy Ghost have made you overseers, to feed the church of God, which he have purchased with his own blood. And that's what I'm saying. It's his. All right. The Holy Ghost might have made you an overseer, but that's all you are. You a manager. All right. You're not the owner. All right. You're not writing the checks. Well, you are writing the checks as a manager, but you ultimately aren't, getting that last check or the benefits of that last resource that goes down out of operations. After all the operations is done, that revenue ultimately goes to the owner, to the CEO. And not even, sometimes CEO ain't the owner, but the owner. And that was purchased with his own blood. For I know this, that after my departing shall grievous wolves enter in among you, not sparing the flock. And this times, sometimes this happens when leadership leads, and this is what Paul is afraid of. That there are gonna be grievous wolves. There are gonna be, once the leader leaves, or once what's that precept? When the shepherd is taking down, the flock flees. Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But right quick.
Wolves that are enter among you, not sparing the flock. They'll run through. They're gonna run through the flock. Joker got some money. They gonna run through that joker with that money and take advantage of them. Got some beautiful sisters in there. They gonna run through them sisters. Gonna run through those sisters, 3-4 wide, divorce them, and leave them out there and run off to the next flock.
Okay.
Also of your own selves shall men arise, speaking perverse things to draw away disciples after them. And there gonna be people that's gonna speak against you.
Okay.
We always make go ahead with that precept. You got it.
All right. This is the book of John, chapter 10, verse 12. He said, he that is in a hireling, hold on, the shepherd whose own sheep are not, said he come and lead the sheep, fleeing. Hold on for a second. Okay, yeah. It says, this is not the one, but this is a good one too. I start at verse 11, John 10:11. Said, I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd giveth his life for his sheep.
Yes,
but
sir.
He that is an hireling is not the shepherd, whose own the sheep are not. Seeing the wolves coming, he leave the sheep and flee, and the wolves catches them and scatter the sheep.
And see, he not gonna, he just a hireling. He ain't gonna risk his life for the sheep. Man, you how many times I done said that at work? Man, ain't about to die by this job. Get these folk their money, man. They come in. I'm not even to get them. I'm gonna give them the money. Don't you be no hero, man. You're not here to be no hero. But the good shepherd, he gonna die, man. He gonna die for his sheep, man. He not gonna leave his sheep out there. But you just got somebody that's hire somebody to watch over them sheep. Man, that joker gone. He ain't finna be like David and be taking down no bear and snatching no sheep from no bear's mouth. Finna do that. All right.
I think
also go ahead.
I think it's Matthew 26, the one we're looking at. Matthew 26 and 31. And it says, then said Jesus unto them, all ye shall be offended because of me this night. For it is written, I will smite in the shepherd, and the sheep of the flock shall be scattered abroad.
Come. The sheep would be scattered abroad. I remember one time Chief Ephraim did a video. I don't know what was going on, but it was a donkey and a sheep together just walking down the road, man. And he used that, that Isaiah 1:3 with the ox know of his owner and the ass his master's crib. But yeah, somehow he ended up putting that sheep in the back of his truck. That sheep wandering off like that.
Wow.
And when the sheep is out there like that, man, they scatter, run off. And I've seen too, man, where they haven't got sheared, and they have like 30-40 pounds of wool on them, and they can't see. And but anyway, they end up getting into a world of trouble. Those scattered sheep end up being, picked up, thrown in the back of trucks, and end up being supper
for the wolves too.
End up being for the wolves too. Yep, free meal for the coyotes and all that, man. Yep. Also, that verse 30. Also, on your own self shall men arise and speak in perverse things to draw away disciples from you. Yep. And man, we see this all the time, man. Where,
yes.
Joker's gonna talk down on you. Joker's out, man. Joker, man, you just love the white man. Man, Joker done turned into a Christian. Man, y'all need to get away from that Joker. Y'all need to get up out of that, man. And
yeah,
you end up sounding like these wolves, man. You gotta be mindful of that, man. A few more slides, y'all. 1 Peter chapter 5, 1 through 4.
1 Peter chapter 5, chapter 1. Okay. It says, the elder which are among you I exhort, who am also an elder and a witness of the suffering of Christ, and also a partaker of the glory that shall be revealed. Feed the flock of God which is among you, taking the oversight thereof, not by constraint, but willingly, not for filthy lucre, but of a ready mind, neither as being lords over God's inheritance, but being example to the flock. And when the chief shepherd shall appear, ye shall receive a crown of glory that fadeth not away.
Now look at Peter. Peter, it was told to him 3 times. Now he passing it down, to the elders. Hey, feed the flock. All right, not by constraint, not by force.
Right.
Not by force. You got to be doing it willingly. So nobody had to force you to do it. You should do it willingly. Because if somebody force you, it's gonna be grievous, man. It's gonna get on your nerves. You're gonna say certain things. Things are gonna come out your mouth. You ain't gonna be able to hold it in. You ain't gonna be able to hide it. And not for money, not for filthy lucre. All right, but of a ready mind. Of a ready mind. Understanding that this is his inheritance. All right. And you the best teacher is your life. Is you living, being an example, your light. All right. And if you do these things, if you tend to the sheep, you keep the sheep, you protect them, you guard the sheep, you tend to them, you feed the lambs. Then the chief shepherd, all right, the chief shepherd, who's Christ, shall appear, and you shall receive a crown of glory that'll never fade. Man.
All praise.
All praises. Who is the chief shepherd? We're gonna establish that. I'll read I'll read these just real quick. Just establishing the chief shepherd, John 10:11. We just read that too. I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd giveth his life for the sheep. Isaiah 40:11. He shall feed the flock like a shepherd. He shall gather the lambs with his arm and carry them in his bosom, and shall gently lead those that are with young. All right. And we see, some compassion there. Not just snatching up them little young ones and gently leading those that are pregnant with young. Ezekiel 34 and 23. It says, and I will set up one shepherd over them, and he shall feed them, even my servant David. He shall feed them, and he shall be their shepherd. All right. And again, we wait for that chief shepherd to be revealed again to give us a crown of glory.
Yeah.
Watch who and how you smite. Exodus 17:6, and this is going into how Moses smit the rock, not and us understanding who the rock was, and us not smiting the rock twice.
Sure.
Exodus 17:6, and it's one more slide after this.
This is the book of Exodus 17, verse 6. It say, behold, I will stand before thee there upon the rock of Harab, and thou shalt smite the rock, and there shall come water out of it, that the people may drink. And Moses did so in the sight of the elders of Israel.
Shalak, Numbers chapter 20 and verse 7.
Numbers
20, yeah. Mm-hmm. It said, we see Moses smit the rock, water came out of the rock. He did this in the sight of the elders.
Okay. Said Numbers 20 and
7 through 11.
Okay. It says, and the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, take the rod and gather thou the assembly together, thou and Aaron thy brother, and speak ye unto the rock before their eyes, and it shall give forth his water, and thou shalt bring forth to them water out of the rock, so thou shalt give the congregation and their beasts drink. And Moses took the rod from before the Lord as he commanded him. And Moses and Aaron gathered the congregations together before the rock. And he said unto them, hear now, ye rebels, must we fetch ye water out of this rock? And Moses lifted up his hand, and with his rod he smote the rock twice, and the water came out abundantly, and the congregation drank, and their beasts also.
So did Moses do what he was told to do?
La No.
Smoke that thing twice.
He hit it twice.
Well, I told you to speak to the rock.
Yep.
You ain't gotta hit it. Speak to the rock, and it's the energy. That's what I'm saying. You don't know. You know, that's why you should always, you should be willing to restore one, because you don't know the moment you can fall into something like that and just get in your feelings of these people can drive you crazy. Israel can drive you crazy and get you, so frustrated with them. You done lost view of the instructions, and now you done put yourself in there, and must we get this water out of there? Must we?
Mm-hmm.
Brother, you just supposed to speak to the rock. You just supposed to ask the rock politely. Can you give us?
That's simple.
Can you get us some water, please? Get some water, please. Come out of here, and that stuff came out abundantly, and you see the grace. You see some grace there also, because the water still came out.
Yeah, beast drunk and the people drunk. Everybody good boo but Moses.
Oh man, I read this last slide, finish us off. Psalms 18, 2 and 3. We a lot of us know this one. Says, the Lord is my rock, my fortress, my deliverer, my strength, in whom I will trust, my buckler and the horn of my salvation, and my high tower. I will call upon the Lord, who is worthy to be praised. So shall I be saved from my enemies. All right, the Lord is my rock, my fortress, my strength, whom I will trust. 1 Corinthians chapter 10, in verse 1 through 4, and it's titled, Be Like Your Rock. All right. Be a rock, but have those attributes like your rock. Your rock is a protection and a strength, and you can, can be trusted as a buckler, as a horn of salvation. Be those things for someone else. Be those things for your family. Be those things for your kids. Be those things for your brethren, your brothers and sisters. Be those things. Have those attributes. 1 Corinthians 10, 1 through 4 says, Moreover, brethren, I would not that you should be ignorant how that all our fathers were under the cloud, and all passed through the sea, and were baptized unto Moses in the cloud and in the sea, and did eat the same spiritual meat, and did all drink the same spiritual drink, for they drank of that spiritual rock that followed them, and that rock was the Hamashiach Yahushua, who we know as Jesus Christ. And we need to also have the attributes of that rock. And with that, I conclude. Anybody have anything, brother?
No, man. Good lesson, man. I just think that we just need humility, bro.
Absolutely.
And I'm not just talking about nobody in particular. I'm talking about myself at this point. Like you said, man. Charity started at home, man. And we just gotta start looking in the mirror and just see, are we being representations of the Most High and the Mashiach? You know what I mean? Like, are we doing the things? He left an example of how we ought to do it, which we didn't have a perfect example prior to Yahushua. You know what I mean? So he left us an example, man, but we refused to follow his example because of our own pride, man. So, but great lesson, brother, man. I learned a lot, brother.
All praises to the Most High, man. Friday, I will definitely have that thing, y'all willing, calendar typed out for everybody tomorrow. Well, I'll send it in the chat for brothers to look over, and then look over that thing, man, and once we get solidified on it, get that thing out, man. Friday we'll be on Bring It Out 7:30.
Yeah, Most High willing.
Most High willing, 7:30. Make sure y'all check us out there, Bring It Out TV. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, be a rock. All right, 10 to the flock. Make sure these things get out. Share the video, hit the like button, do what you can for the flock, so that the flock can hear some sincere milk. I can hear some sincere truth. With that, I'm gonna say shalom. Pray this thing. Go ahead, brother.
Before you leave too, man. Make sure y'all hit that notification bell, man. So all the contents come, it can just come straight to you. Know what I mean? So hit that notification bell as well. There you go.
Absolutely. It's the water. And we pray this thing was edifying. Y'all be blessed, Israel.